Hello, and welcome to Advancing the Right Way. I'd like to begin by saying that I don't intend this session to be sanctimonious or self-righteous in any way, and I hope that isn't how it comes across. Instead, I want to share with you some of the methods and philosophies that have helped me advance and to maintain my reputation as a respected member of the officiating community. That being said, there are many methods officials have used to advance themselves. And by advance, I mean any of the following: moving from junior high to JV contests, moving from JV to varsity contests, breaking into the postseason, or moving from one level of the postseason to another. To begin, please pause this video and brainstorm some of the methods you know officials have used to advance, and consider whether those methods are good, bad, or otherwise. Resume the video when you are ready to continue. Before covering the right way to advance, here are two other methods. One of the other methods is shown here. Most association assigners, athletic directors who do their own assigning, and even IHSA administrators are familiar with this tactic. If you want to officiate at a particular school, it's perfectly acceptable to contact the athletic director or assigner to let them know, but making contact once a year is enough. Here is the second of the other methods covered in this session. We've all heard the old expression, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but frequently that is not the case. More often than not, when the squeaky wheel's name is mentioned in conversation, other officials scoff or roll their eyes. If you, as an official, believe it necessary to engage in one of these methods in order to advance, I encourage you to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Now, here are two important philosophies that have helped me to both advance and relax over the years. In order to maintain our mental well-being, it is especially important for officials to have more than one goal. While conducting and attending softball clinics in the past, I've heard other clinicians claim the goal of every umpire in the state should be to work the IHSA state finals, because it's a great experience with high-caliber games and top-notch partners and excellent accommodations, so on and so forth. While it is true that the state finals tournament is a fantastic experience, we should not allow a state finals assignment, or the lack of one, to define whether or not our officiating career has been successful. Setting and reaching other goals, such as working a USA national tournament, having a college schedule, or becoming a mentor for younger officials in a local association, can be just as satisfying. A number of aspects of advancing are beyond our control as officials, and it does no good to worry about them. Instead, officials should only focus on those aspects they can control. As such, the next several slides will examine what we can control. A hot topic of discussion among officials looking to advance in the postseason is the IHSA's power rating system. The power rating components in green can be directly controlled. By studying rules and case situations, attending clinics and other educational opportunities provided by local associations, and applying for promotion, officials have the ability to maximize their power rating points in these three categories. The components in blue allow for some indirect control. Power rating points in these three categories will increase, at least in theory, as an official's skill and on-field performance improve. That being said, some varsity coaches do choose to forego the process for entering contest ratings and/or top 15 lists. This, of course, is largely out of our control. Although our power rating points in green and blue can impact it, the power rating component in red is ultimately out of the direct control of officials. Officials can control many other factors related to advancement that are not expressly listed as components of the power rating system. One of these factors is using proper mechanics in every game. For example, Some umpires choose to remain behind home plate on every ground ball situation instead of trailing the batter runner when appropriate to do so. Those same umpires struggle to fulfill some of the most fundamental duties while working the big game, where a clinician, rules interpreter, or IHSA administrator is evaluating their performance. Using the proper mechanics in every contest ensures that those fundamental responsibilities will be second nature to us, even during the big game. Another factor of advancement we can control is to become familiar with three-person mechanics. While many Illinois school districts can barely afford to hire 2 umpires, opportunities do exist to work games using the 3-umpire system. Some summer tournaments utilize 3 umpires in the later rounds, and a handful of regular season high school tournaments do as well. But there is also another way: volunteering. By contacting the assigner, athletic director, or seeking out a partnership already familiar with 3-person mechanics, it is possible to gain exposure to this enjoyable and complex system. While reading a manual and attending clinics is vital to first gain basic knowledge of 3-person mechanics, there is no substitute for on-field experience. For some officials, accepting constructive criticism is extremely difficult. When sought out and delivered properly, however, it can be an extremely valuable tool for officials wishing to advance. Constructive criticism does not need to be formal. In fact, it most often takes the form of a simple conversation between partners while removing equipment in the parking lot after a game has ended. Equally important to soliciting constructive criticism is our willingness to provide it when requested by other officials. Keep in mind that the purpose of a post-game conversation is for officials to help each other improve, not to give up. Telling your partner that she should stop doing that and start doing this, and you were out of position the entire game and you blew the call at first base, can defeat the purpose of constructive criticism. Instead, start with some positive aspect of her performance and then mention 2 or 3 ways to improve. Next, we need to understand our role as IHSA member officials. Although some do wear multiple hats with high school sports, the majority of those viewing this presentation have a select few responsibilities pertaining to postseason tournaments. Our job is to confirm our assignment with the athletic director, arrive at least 30 minutes early, umpire the game to the best of our ability, and go home. We are officials, not athletic directors, not assistant executive directors of the IHSA. We are officials. Our role is not to ask the tournament director to alter the starting time of the championship game to better fit our schedule. Our role is not to call the IHSA office to suggest the tournament be played at a different site with better drainage or facilities. We should confirm our assignment, work the game, and go home. Due to family and work responsibilities and travel expenses, not all officials have the option to expand their boundaries. Many who do have this option, though, find that officiating games in other parts of the state helps in their endeavor to advance. Working with partners in other areas can open our eyes to new techniques. Officiating contests outside of our normal boundaries can expose us to teams with different styles of play, which can better prepare us for future games. Furthermore, receiving ratings and/or being added to top 15 lists from a wide variety of schools could potentially make the difference between you or another official receiving that first assignment to any given level of the state tournament. I hope that no one viewing this presentation would say that officiating is the single most important aspect of their life, because while it should be important to all officials, there are occasions when it must take a back seat to what is really important. Perhaps your daughter is getting married. Maybe your son is graduating college. Years ago, my grandparents celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary. Understandably, the vast majority of officials would decide not to work a game, any game, if it meant missing those types of events. That being said, if you don't have one of those types of conflicts, and one of your goals is to advance deep into the postseason, turning down postseason assignments is something you should avoid. For information regarding the postseason assignment process, please visit the website at the bottom of your screen. Once there, scroll down on the left side of your screen to view segments 28 and 29, which are both titled Officials. In these segments, Matt Troha and Ron McGraw provide some insight as to how officials are assigned to postseason tournaments. To conclude this presentation, please close your eyes and imagine yourself at the East Side Center in East Peoria, Illinois. Your name has just been called after the national anthem, and you are about to umpire the first semifinal game of the state finals tournament. At that moment, would you rather be thinking, "I've finally done enough nagging and sucking up to reach the highest stage of IHSA softball," or "All the years of hard work, attending clinics, studying the rules, using proper mechanics, and soliciting constructive criticism has paid off. I advanced the right way"? I hope you chose the second option and that this presentation will help you reach your officiating goals.